A sharp, icy wind swept across the Dnipro River as darkness still clung to the early morning sky. In the distance, faint glimmers of Russian floodlights shimmered against the water, guarding a massive structure Moscow believed was impossible to strike, a key hydro-engineering dam turned into a military fortress. For weeks, Russian officers had insisted this dam was secure, protected, untouchable. They had armored it, surrounded it, fortified it, and then hidden something inside it. Something Ukraine had finally discovered. At precisely 4:13 a.m., inside an underground bunker, Ukrainian military commanders gave an order that would echo across Europe. Authorization confirmed. Begin the strike. Hundreds of kilometers away, a mechanic wiped frost from the canopy of an aging Ukrainian fighter jet, a machine resurrected from spare parts, patched together with determination instead of luxury. The pilot climbed in silently. He wasn't flying to survive. He was flying to make sure thousands of others could. The jet's engine sparked awake with a violent growl, shaking dust from the hangar floor. As the aircraft rolled forward, ground crews saluted quietly. They knew the odds. Russian air defenses around that dam were some of the most advanced in the region. Tor, Pantsir, S-300 batteries, and radar networks stretching across miles. If the pilot was detected too early, he wouldn't make it back. But the mission wasn't optional. It was necessary. With a roar, the jet lifted into the freezing air, disappearing into the low morning haze. The pilot dove immediately, flying barely meters above abandoned farmlands. Every second mattered. Every meter could reveal his position. Yet the terrain worked like a shield. Hills, broken trees, and ruined villages created pockets where radar couldn't see. Ukrainian intelligence had studied these pockets for weeks, mapping them like escape routes through enemy vision. Only when he reached the final blind spot did he climb just enough to acquire a lock. And then, he saw it. The massive gray dam stretched across the river like a concrete beast. Towers, sandbag nests, armored vehicles, mounted guns, and checkpoints guarded every inch. Floodlights glared across the water. Russian soldiers patrolled lazily, confident no aircraft could reach them. The pilot whispered into his mic, "Target visual. Beginning strike run." For a few seconds, the world became painfully quiet. Then he fired. 2 missiles screamed forward, tearing through the air like bolts of lightning. Before the Russians could understand what was happening, the impact hit, a violent explosion ripping through the control center, sending debris soaring skyward. But something else happened. Something no one expected. A secondary explosion erupted, far larger, deeper, angrier. A shockwave shook the entire structure. Fire burst out from the inside, turning the dam into a blazing inferno. It wasn't just a weapons strike, it was a chain reaction. Based on satellite intelligence, Russian forces had been secretly storing ammunition, fuel containers, and equipment deep inside the dam, using it as a hidden depot, thinking the structure was too valuable to be attacked. They were wrong. The blast ignited everything: shells, fuel, rockets, and crates of munitions. Thick black smoke billowed into the sky like a volcanic eruption. Russian troops scrambled desperately, shouting orders, firing blindly into the air at an enemy they couldn't see anymore. The dam's concrete groaned under the pressure. Portions cracked. Steel beams twisted. Water sloshed violently behind it. Not enough to break, but enough to cripple its stability. On the opposite bank, Ukrainian artillery crews who had been waiting silently for this exact moment opened fire. Within seconds, shells rained down on Russian convoys rushing to evacuate the burning structure. Trucks exploded. Armored vehicles caught fire. Command vehicles overturned in panic. It became a perfect trap, a coordinated, 2-stage ambush executed with brutal precision. By morning, Russian war bloggers were in meltdown. Some accused NATO jets. Others claimed sabotage. The Kremlin denied the severity, but satellite images told the truth. The dam was not destroyed, but it was wounded, crippled, strategically useless. Its command center burned. Its secret stockpile detonated. Its confidence shattered. Russian engineers rushed to stabilize the structure while drones buzzed above like predatory birds. Every movement was watched. Every repair effort was targeted. The once secure Russian stronghold had become a symbol of vulnerability. As the world reacted, analysts explained the significance. This wasn't just an attack on infrastructure. It was psychological warfare, a message written in fire and smoke. Ukraine was telling Russia, Fortify it however you want. We will reach it." The pilot returned hours later under fading daylight, his jet scarred by debris and counter-fire. He landed on a dimly lit runway. Ground crews rushed him, cheering. He stepped out, removed his helmet, sweat dripping down his face despite the cold, and simply said, "Mission accomplished." That night, across social media and global news channels, footage of the strike spread worldwide. Experts broke down the precision, the timing, the flawless coordination. Western analysts called it one of the most daring Ukrainian air operations of the year. And inside occupied territory, Russian troops now looked at every river, every bridge, every depot, every dam with a new fear. If Ukraine could hit this, they could hit anywhere. A quiet victory, carved into concrete. A warning Russia could no longer ignore.